community of the Kiali project. We are in the Sprint 62 summary. We are going to release the Kiali version 1.40, and today this is the agenda. We are going to give some highlights that you will see the features of the enhancements that you will see in the Kiali 1.40. And also today we will have default doing lightning demos. So we will have Hike that will present some cross namespace validation demo in Kiali. Also Jay will show some new features about the bookmarking on the graph. And Nick will show you some new, quite interesting features, how to see external virtual machines within the in Kiali, right? And after the recording session, we will have the typical community not recorded with open questions, comments, ideas, etc. Okay, so some of the highlights of this sprint that what you will see in the next version, Kiali. So remember in the past sprint, Leandro performed a demo showing all the new features of the certification information. So this feature is consolidated in the versions. So under the masthead in the help icon, you will see a new option to view the certificates info, and you will get information on the certificates used for the internal service communication, the mutual TLS. So typically we'll cover the following configuration, the Istio CA, the plugin CA, or the DNS certificates. Right? A screenshot of the feature. Please give us feedback. As this feature is fully configurable in the Kiali CR, so you can disable, enable, and also to specify what are the secrets that you want to show into Kiali. Right? Any feedback, please let us know, like an issue or discussion, a comment, what do you think, or if you like the feature, or would you like to see more modification on this kind of group of features that we are adding to the Kiali console. Okay, so another bug fix that we prove into this version is, when you move into the dashboard, the metric dashboard under the application service or workload, now we are improving the support for narrow screen resolution. So you can see the before and after that now that we have 3 rows of metrics, that we are not querying the request, the response, and also the gRPC new metrics that we introduced in the past sprint. And also we are increasing the number of TCP metrics to accommodate that. So yeah, this is a bug fix to look better, right? When you have narrow resolution, so we hide some data on the Y-axis, and also to adapt better the legends to that the user has a better experience. So. Okay, so another improvements on the overview page, which is already a work in progress, not yet consolidated, but what's to mention is that, okay, so we are going to add more information in the Y-axis to see the magnitude for the volume of the request that you're going to see. In the overview, we are going also to bring the error series, right, to also quickly identify which namespace have errors, right? And also if those errors are expected or combination with other health information, right? You can see here, that the number of application or services that are in warning on error state, right? This is something that is a work in progress, and the idea is to show, to show you to the community, to collect feedback and to collect ideas that you would like to see on this overview page. All right. Another improvement that is already merged into the version is that you can see now when you are in the graph, you can select a lot of options for visualization. You can select the protocol, you can show or hide any kind of specific features. Now there is a new button at the right of the graph tour icon that can give you the ability to reset to the default setting. Right? So if you have changed too much and you want to quickly go back to the default visualization of the Kiali, just press that button and it will reset what you define to the Kiali CR. Also, another feature that we support, remember, so Kiali can help you to add the annotations of the workloads to include the workloads into a mess, right? This is something that you can perform. In the past version of Istio, you can annotate a specific pod to tell, okay, this pod is going to belong to the data plane, so now Istio will inject the new sidecar and start to communicate with the control plane just to collect all the information, right? So this is a minor change, but from starting from Istio.11, instead to use an annotation, the pod is going to use a label, right? So we updated Kiali as well to support both labels. This is more a normalization because the namespace was using the Istio injection label. Before this version, in older version of Istio, you should use the annotation, but from Istio 1.11 and newer versions, this is going to be used for label, and you will see that also in the actions of the workload in Kiali, as well the details that you will see, okay, I have this annotation present. Okay, so yeah, we have increased the support of the validation, the semantic validation in Kiali. Just remember, the semantic validation is to help you to try to understand if the Istio configuration that you deploy in your cluster is correct according to all the information that you have deployed, all the workloads, all the runtime information. So now we have more support for the exportTo field, right, in the virtual services and destination rules. And I'm going to pass the mic to my colleague Hike, that is also to show how to do cross namespace validation in Kiali. So Hike, I'm going to stop sharing. Yeah, feel free to.
Yeah. Hello. There is an ongoing work of making Kiali validations of Istio objects to support the cross namespace validations, and particularly considering the exportTo field in these rules, which means that some rule can be exported to particular namespaces. Otherwise, if it is not exported, there is no exportTo field, then it is exported to all namespaces and should be considered in cross namespace validation on all namespace objects. So I will do short demo how this is working. So I've prepared a sample application, sample configurations for showing this demo. So one of the validations which is modified to make cross namespace support was that more than one virtual service for the same host. So basically, if we create a virtual service, two virtual services, which are the first virtual service is in booking for namespace, and its host is fully qualified domain name of the same namespace's review service, and it doesn't have exportTo field. This means that it is exported to all namespaces. And the second virtual service is created in the booking.to namespace. It points to the same reviews service into the booking.for namespace. Remember that it is coming from booking.to namespace, and also it doesn't have a exportTo field. This means that this is export to all namespaces, and the validation takes into consideration these two virtual services, and the cross namespace validation considers this that there are more than one virtual service pointing to the same host, and it includes into the validation reference. So if we do a small example here, for instance, export to this only to this particular namespace. The dot means that it is exported to there. Then if we go to booking for reviews, then now the validation doesn't happen because it doesn't see it doesn't see the export, the imported virtual service from other namespace. Like the same thing can be done in the using this another example YAML files. So the reviews of Bookinfo virtual service, it is exported to Bookinfo and Bookinfo 3. So, and the copy of the reviews from virtual service from Bookinfo 2, this is exported to only to this namespace, Bookinfo 2, but pointing to the Bookinfo reviews. So these two virtual services are not colliding because they are exporting to different namespaces. There is no collision between them, so the validation doesn't make this warning message. This is the exportTo field which is taken into consideration. Another virtual service validation which is supporting cross namespace is that subset not found. So if I apply the first example, which is creating destination rules on the virtual service. So yeah, this is the first error, and now it has the it has the subsets in this destination rule, which are pointing to hosts, subsets of different namespaces. This is the Bookinfo 2 number 1 version 1, Bookinfo version 2, Bookinfo 3 version 3. But there is no error here. This means that all these subsets from the particular destination rules are recognized. So if you go to the destination rules, for instance, to Bookinfo 1, yes, we have the version 2 here. It is pointing to current namespace, and in Bookinfo 1 it is available. And going to destination rule reviews from Bookinfo 2, this is pointing to Bookinfo, exporting to Bookinfo 1, and this also works because we had this virtual service in Bookinfo 1. So this is also imported because it is correctly exported, and the same for the destination rule from here, which is exporting to all namespaces. And let's spoil these destination rules. And going back to reviews VS, we will see that these two subsets are not found. One is version 1 from Bookinfo 2, second is version 3 from Bookinfo 3. Okay, going to these destination rules, Bookinfo 2 and Bookinfo 3, we will see that the subset doesn't exist here. It is wrong subset, and it points to everywhere. So it is imported, but the subset doesn't exist. That's why in virtual service, it says the subset is not found. And the same for Bookinfo 3. Destination rule for Bookinfo 3. This also has a wrong subset, pointing to everywhere, and it is not found. But the subset for Bookinfo, it exists, yeah, and it's pointing to correct. Yeah, it doesn't have exportTo field, so it is exporting to all namespaces, and in Bookinfo 1 it is recognized. So that's it. This is for virtual service. These two validations of virtual services finished. So basically the virtual services validations are covered. The next is the destination rules validations, and there is one validation which is covered. It's called more than one destination rule for the same host subset combination. And there is an example for this. First, the correct one. More than one destination rule for the same host subset combination. This is from booking.info namespace. It is exporting to booking.info and booking.info2. And in booking.info2, we have another reviews destination rule, which is exporting to everywhere. And also it has the same host with fully qualified domain name to booking.info. So that's why there is a duplicate destination rules for the same host. And these validations work only when the hosts are given in fully qualified domain name, because otherwise, if it's not the namespace is not specified, it is generated and it is put the namespace from where it is created, and there will not be collision. So there will not be validation errors. And let's apply another example when the exporting is broken, like there is not matching exporting, and there will not be errors, but there will not be warnings. So it first is booking.info, from booking.info exporting to itself only, and the second is exporting to booking.info free somewhere else, but it is booking.info fully qualified domain name, so there is no collision. So no error is shown here, or no warning message is shown here. So these are the one of the several validations which are done, and this task is in progress still. So service entries and the services are also going to support these cross namespace validations. That's it from my side. There is an example in GitHub with this example configuration files. Thank you.
Thank you a lot, Haik, for the writing demo. Quite interesting to see how Kiali can help to validate all the Istio configuration and ensure that they are not mistyping. So let me continue with the session. Yes. Okay. So the next feature is that I guess that Jay is going to be you, right? So you're going to comment about the new feature about the full graph bookmarking, right? And I support it. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Stop sharing. Yeah. Feel free to show your screen and.
All right. It's just a really quick demo this time. This is a feature that for basically since Kiali started, we haven't completely supported bookmarking of your graph, which means that some of the features that you could, or some of the settings you could do would be captured in the URL, and some were not being captured in the URL. So if you actually tried to bookmark it or share that link with someone else, they wouldn't necessarily get the same view that you wanted. So with this enhancement, pretty much everything that you would set on the graph will be captured in the URL for bookmarking or sharing. So for example, if I've got this graph right here, and I want to I'm investigating it, I want to change a few things. I'm happy with the TCP traffic, so I'm going to just eliminate that from my graph, and then maybe I see that I've got a couple of namespaces going on, so I'm going to add some namespace boxing, and I'm going to add some traffic distribution labels, and maybe some security checks for my edges, and that looks pretty good. But then I see that there's some red traffic there, having to do with travel. So maybe I'll just highlight that area, and maybe I'm happy with the cars application. So I kind of simplify my graph of this. This is the travel demo for people that haven't seen it before. It's a really good demo that you can get from the Kiali demo repo. And let's say I'm good with this, and I start to investigate why maybe that traffic turned red. So I go into a graph replay, and I start playing with that. Kick that off for the last 10 minutes, and it starts playing. And this is just fabricated, so I'm not really going to investigate a real problem, but I just want to show that at this point, what have I done? I've added find and hide criteria for the graph. I've modified the traffic that's being used to populate the graph by removing the TCP. I've gone into replay, and I've set a bunch of display features. And let's say I found something interesting at this point. It would be a great time to kind of save this. So I could actually go and do that by, for example, bookmarking it. Let's just say I want to save it on my bookmarks bar, or I could copy that to share it with someone else. And then I go off and, do some other things in Kiali, do some investigations and so forth. And I want to get back to that view. If I go back to that bookmark, it brings me right back to replay with all of the various values that I had set. So if I start, I should see all the things that I've got previously set. And sure enough, I get back everything that I had set. So it's a good way to capture, return, share what you're looking at the graph. Especially, I think it's really nice with replay if you've captured a particular window, a window of time that's showing something, you want somebody else to look at it as well. You can do that. And then, of course, if you use that new feature, that we mentioned earlier, you can reset your graph to factory settings if you want to just prove that we had made a bunch of customizations. And with that reset, we're back to where we normally would be. And that's it. Just wanted to show that feature. So you've got full bookmarking for the graph.
Right. Thank you, Jay. Really nice demo. So let's continue with the session. I guess that the first feature that we are going to comment is the Workload entry enhancements, right? And there will be another demo for Nick. So yeah, Nick, would you like to share your screen and start your demo?
Absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, everyone should see book info deployed in Kiali.
Yes.
All right, great. So I'm going to be demoing the workload entry badge feature, which will just add a workload entry, a little icon to nodes that have associated workload entries with them. This is useful for quickly identifying which workloads have associated workload entries, which would be a VM. You could potentially have a workload that's both pods and VMs. So this adding a badge to that workload node on the graph just helps you quickly identify which workloads have associated workload entries and by extension are some mixture of VMs associated with them. So we've got book info deployed here. I'm going to run a quick script in the background that should hopefully create a VM or a simulation of one, and then it should add, what we should see here is this rating service should become a service entry, and then this v1 workload entry workload node should have this workload entry badge. And yep, so let me go to the Istio config so you can see exactly what was deployed. We deployed a service entry for that rating service. We deployed a workload entry for the ratings v1 workload. So going back to the graph, zooming in a little bit, this just tells you that this workload now has an associated workload entry with it, which for this particular workload is both pods and VMs, which is just helpful for, like I said, quickly identifying your workloads that have workload entries. And the find and hide features work for this as well, if you want to do that in the graph. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I wanted to demo here. So if you're running workload entries and VMs, hopefully this will make it a little easier to identify workloads.
You lost your audio.
Yeah, that's my audio. Can you hear me now?
It's not that we lost it, it's that it sounds garbled. I'm not sure what happened.
All right. Well, that was pretty much the end anyway. The demo anyway.
Okay. Yes, that we missed your audio in the last minute, Nick, but the demo was really great. And it was really, really interesting to see how now we can just more information about the external virtual machines when those external virtual machine belongs to the MES. So yeah, thank you for the demo, Nick. So I guess that we are almost done with all the features. Just to mention more minor things. So yeah, we have a new blog post by Edgar. So thank you, Edgar. So with a very good summary of all the features from the version 1.34 up to 1.39. So you can see this article in the Medium, in the Kiali project as always. And also you will see that we are trying to modernize and update the Kiali.io site, especially the landing page. And there are other improvements in progress just to try to adapt all this new content of new features in the structure of the documentation to make more easier to navigate and also to work with that. And yeah, and that was the session for today. So I'm going to stop recording.
Recording.